That's a good ball for Peter Weir. Now Aberdeen with McGee making the break and Hewitt waiting in the middle. Yes!
Countdown to Kickoff is brought to you and supported by Saltire Energy, the global market leader in specialist drilling equipment rental. And also by Craig International, a truly global company with 10 offices strategically placed around the world. The future of global procurement is right here, and you will be in good hands. And also by Steadfast Scotland, manufacturers of high-integrity stud bolts and special fasteners, globally recognised as your market leader and solution provider for bespoke quality bolting and safety critical components. Guys, thank you as always for your support and your help. It's Scottish Cup 4th round weekend as Aberdeen make the 65-mile journey northwest to face Scottish League Two side Elgin City at Borough Briggs. The Dons, quite simply, looking to regenerate their season and aim for a trophy that we've not won in 35 years. Could it be Lucky 13? Hi everybody, a very warm welcome this Friday evening to Ali Beg ABTV here on YouTube. How are we doing? First and foremost, thank you so much for tuning in last night. The viewing figures for last night's show are absolutely fantastic. And I know that there's been a sort of a follow-on from yesterday's show as well on my socials. So thank you so much to all of you who have continued to post and to offer your thoughts after what was a very, very disappointing display at Ibrox on Wednesday night. But look, it's another day, it's another dollar, we go again. And we couldn't have a better chance to put this awful run that we're on to bed. Yes, it's a Scottish Cup. Yes, it's a one-off game. Yes, it's a potential banana skin. But on paper, surely we should have enough to beat Elgin City tomorrow. As long as the boys are not complacent and as long as the boys are able to find a red shirt when it comes to passing a football, I think we should be okay. Elgin City, to their great credit, are having a fairly decent season and have proven at home that they're extremely difficult to beat. I've got the match stats for you a little bit later to convey that message. I've also picked out a couple of quotes from their manager, Alan Hale, as well, who said a couple of interesting things about how they're approaching the game. We're also going to be hearing from Yemi Talene a little bit later as well. But tonight is all about you. Dust yourselves down, I guess. Come on. It's a brand new day. It's a brand new game. We've got to crack on with it. I'm going to try and predict the team news for you. And I have made one or two changes here and there. And I'll give you my understanding of why I've picked this team that I think will start in the game tomorrow. So do you know what? We might as well crack on with it. So this is what I'm going to do. Obviously, Ross will stay in goal. Now, I toyed with playing Jensen at right back, because I thought when he came on against Rangers, he was great. But I think to make too many changes across the back four for one game is slightly ambitious. So I'm going to stick Nicky in there, but I am going to have Dorrington and Tobus together with James out on the left. Palaversa and Shinnie in front, and Nielsen to drop out. Toppy, Leighton and Yeppe. I think this game could suit Yeppe tomorrow because I think he needs the game time. And Kevin Nisbet to start. The great news is that obviously Pape is back. He's fit. He's trained really well. He will be in the matchday squad for tomorrow, but I don't think he'll start. I think what we'll do is we'll see him a little bit later in the game. I also fully expect Jensen to come on a little bit later in the game as well, potentially for Nicky Devlin. So that's the only reason why I stuck with Nicky, is just not to have too much of an interruption across the back four in what is potentially a very tricky game. And I think if we were to have three brand new players all playing together for the first time at the back, could cause us some issues. So I just felt we needed the experience of Nicky to stay in there. but with a view to bringing Jensen on a little bit later. That's what I'm thinking. Match stats for you, as promised. So the sides have only met twice before, both in the Cup actually, with Aberdeen easing to a 6-1 win in Elgin in 1938, and more recently, 1971, 5-0 at home. And both of those games were while City was still in the Highland League. So Elgin have only lost once at home in their previous 12 games. The Dons come into the game having equalled a club record game, 12 games without a win after Wednesday's defeat at Ibrox. And the referee is Callum Scott, and there's no VAR in operation. So, come and have your say. Tell me what you think. What we'll do now is we'll hear from the gaffer. So this video comes courtesy of Aberdeen Football Club, and the manager was asked a question about their current form and how he sees what he will hopefully see as an upturn in our fortunes. Here's the gaffer.
Football is like 1 year, I think I mentioned before, like a whole life. You experience too many things during a season. Things happen. You have good times, you have bad times. But in the normal life, when you have setbacks in normal, you have to keep pushing to get out and get better. And you can't sit down and cry and think sorry for yourself, because it's not going to help. Of course, you can feel some stress sometimes. And that's my job, to try to calm down the stressors and keep the belief in the right direction. And I feel that the squad is strong belief, and they're trying so hard in the session. Then sometimes when you get out and then you lose one more time, or a late goal, or we don't score the chances we have. But you can't feel sorry for yourself. It's not going to help. So you have to be strong, be brave, and go out and try again. And don't get this. That's what I mean by the standards and the principles of the game. You have to do what you have to do, and don't get stuck in these emotional things like confidence or not confidence, because then you play maybe 2 good games and then you lose one. What happened with the confidence? You have to be more clear what you have to do, and then sometimes you can have this touch or whatever, this game. You can call it confidence you want, but for me, to be consistent long term, you have to be more stable in the basic parts of the game, and there we have a journey still to do. That's why we go in like this during the games and between the games. We have to push the limits and improve ourselves, and that's my job, my staff, and also the responsibility of the players. The standards every day has to be so high, so we get better and better and better.
As always, I thought he spoke very eloquently. This is what the Elgin City manager Alan Hale had to say about our game. I think it is something you're aware of, and the implications there might be within their own performance when he's talking about our winless run. But there's an element of realism. We're a part-time team. We only get together 3 hours a week to train. Aberdeen are full-time and train every day. I always say the reason people like the game of football is because they love the underdog to succeed. And this sport allows them the opportunity to come out on top. You've got to dream. You've got to have that positive mindset. I have absolutely no doubt that they will come into this game without any fear whatsoever. They know they have nothing to lose. They know that our confidence is probably at an all-time low, and that they will probably want to get at us quite early to try and unsettle us. But what I'm hoping is that we have the experience and the know-how to be able to deal with what they're going to offer tomorrow. Let's start getting you guys on and see how you're doing. Good to see lots of you on. Gary Milne says, I'm really scared that we will lose tomorrow. Surely not, please. Steve Williamson says, tomorrow's a massive game for us. If we win, then hopefully we get back on track. If we lose, then God help us. The West Coast media will have a field day. Colin Gale says, after listening to Yumi today, I'm still very optimistic about the future. I think we need to give Nielsen, Shinnie and Devlin time to recharge and shake off any niggling injuries. Colin Gale says, my first game at Pittodrie was the cup game against Elgin City in January 1971. He's hoping for the same scoreline tomorrow, a 5-0 win. The Music Cat says, very much with his tongue placed in his cheek, he says, I see Erling Haaland has extended his contract at Man City until 2034, so it looks like Jimmy will have to look elsewhere for a striker. Colin Gale's asking, does anybody know if McGarry is fit for tomorrow? He is. Gordon Keith Ritchie says, good evening all. We need to play our strongest team and get back to winning ways. I've been to the 2 cup shockers. I don't want to repeat. It's Elgin's cup final. They've got nothing to lose. Come on, you Reds. Grey Pilgrim simply says, let's get a win. Neom says, good evening. Kaiser's on, wishing everybody a good evening. A win of any kind will do tomorrow. We'll definitely concede a goal, so I'll take 2-1. Graham Barron says, good evening, Ali and fellow dandies. This better not turn into a Darvel 2. Surely we can win this game tomorrow. Battle of the Murray Cup. Big Pappy with a hat-trick tomorrow. David Horn is on, wishing everybody a good evening. Graham Gibbs says, good evening. Pappy's back. As a nurse I used to work beside always. Said, it will be fine. Barry Cole says, good evening, dandies. We've got to get it right tomorrow. Suze is on, also wishing everybody a good evening. Barry's looking forward to the game, as is Rodney J. Lenny. Johnny Wilson says, must win, no excuses. David Gold Rallyvid says, was meant to be going tomorrow, but wife had other ideas. You mean the boss? Robin the Bold says, 100% must win. Oh. Hugh Burns asks an interesting question. He says, is Johanna's nightclub still open in Elgin? Might swing in past there after the game. Kirstein's on. Hi, Kirstein. She says, good evening, Ali and fellow dandies. I am being optimistic that we're going to win 4-0. Can't be bothered says, hi, Ali. Hello, dandies. I think we should go in with a cheeky bid for the boy Dalby. Neil Strachan says, good evening, Ali. I think we will win 3-1 tomorrow, and I think Papia will get a hat-trick. Hugh Burns was talking about the press conference, just basically saying it was a very, very impressive press conference from him today. It was. If you get a chance, check it out on Red TV. He spoke very, very well again. Hayden Ritchie's on saying, good evening, dandy. Surely a 3-4 goal victory tomorrow. Come on, you Reds. West Coast Dawn says, you're looking as rough as Aberdeen's recent results. Not been well, mate. Really not been well. Couldn't be bothered shaving. Kaiser says, nobody does humiliation quite like us. It could be a struggle. Matthew Cool says, good evening, Ali. I hope some young lads get some game time. Stand free. Phil McInish says, Pappy's back in the squad, so we might feature at some point. Staban Took says, good evening all. We really could do with a confidence building win tomorrow to kick on from. Need energy and drive in midfield. So hopefully Shinnie and Nielsen are given much needed rest. Hugh Burns says, back in 1971, Elgin at home in the Scottish Cup was to be my very first game at Pittodrie. It got postponed because of a waterlogged pitch and I couldn't make the rescheduled date. I was heartbroken. Oh, Hugh. Feel your pain. Chilling is on, wishing everybody a good evening. Sue says she'll take a 5-0 win. West Coast Dawn says all the new players must start for match fitness. This should be a kickabout for us. Neil Simpson says, hi Ali, hope you're well. On to the game. A message to Yumi Talene. We play first team squad, show our authority and class that we have and get the job done, stand free. Hugh Burns says, Ali, with respect, you simply can't start Shinnie tomorrow. Why not? David Gold says, Alan Hale, the Elgin City manager, joined them from my hometown club, Huntly, where he did very well. He's improved Elgin quite a bit. Kevin Spence says, being from Elgin when the draw was made, I was looking forward to it. However, with recent results, I'm nervous about tomorrow. Would like to see Fletcher Boyd getting a chance. West Coast Dawn is saying it should be 4 or 5-0 at least. Abadad Graham Mack says, currently at Burton and Kendall services, travelling up for the game. 13th time lucky tomorrow. Safe trip, guys. That's a long trip for you, dearie me. So a couple of you asking about the game on TV. So it's not on domestic television, but it is on Red TV International. So if you're a Red TV International like myself, you will be able to watch it. Unfortunately, I did plan to do a watch-along show tomorrow, but my little boy's got a football tournament at the last minute here in Austria. So I'm going to go and watch him, if I'm being honest. John Grant says, hi, Dandies. I'm happy that we've got a better looking defence and surely must be too strong for Elgin. We have to get this passing game sorted and not give Elgin any encouragement. West Coast Dawn says, we're up against a team whose players who also have other jobs. I'm not having this rubbish. We're a pro team. Smash them. No excuses. Fed up with a lack of expectation. Scott Bowie says, Shinnie is a busted flush. As a player and captain, need to get another young midfielder signed in and Shinnie moved on. Sue says, I'm probably not as wary of playing the new guys, but I get your point, Ali. I try them. This should be an easier game and a good run out for them. This could come back to haunt me though. Erica Mitchell says, evening, Ali. I hope to God we beat Elgin tomorrow as we do not want another embarrassment like we had against Darvel. So come on lads, heed first. Get stuck in. Hugh Byrne said Shinnie should be gradually phased out this season and then gone in the summer. Sad to say this, but it's true. Kaiser said we certainly got the luck of the draw, a Premier League team or a top championship team, and we would be out. Neil Simpson says, Ali, it's plain and simple. We're up against a butcher, a baker, and a candlestick maker. Get the job done. Fully expect us to score at least 5. Let's do this. Stand free. Thanks for your message, Dougie. I won't read that out publicly, but thank you. 123 Wee Dave says, Jimmy speaks well. Players can easily be emotioned by their play, the good and the bad. The trick is focus on the basics. Rodney J. Lenny says, we have to start again playing nice football. Come on, you Reds. Got to have faith. Musical Box says, oh, sorry, I beg your pardon. Hugh Burns says, I will be stunned if either Shinnie or Nielsen start tomorrow. JT is not daft. Rodney J came back to say, we've got to do the talking on the park this time. Kaiser says, there's apparently a lot of Aberdeen fans in the Elgin team. Hugh's come back to answer my question about why not playing Shinnie. He says, because Shinnie is a spent force. Fair enough, mate. Deck G says, good evening, Ali and the Dandies. Surely we will beat Elgin, as we don't want to add them to the loss along Stenhousemuir, Queen's Park and Darvel. God forbid. Duncan Wright says, I'm heading through to Elgin tomorrow. Being a Forest loon, it adds a bit of extra spice for me. Let's just win, Ali. 1-0 will do. The Musical Box says, I'd take a cheeky 2-0 win. So can't be bothered is asking any news on McGrath or McKenzie. So McGrath's out for a while, apparently, with a shoulder injury. McKenzie is back training, but the game's too early for him tomorrow, but he should be fit again for the St Mirren game. Sequentia is asking, Duke, Shinnie, Clarkson, where's the flair? The goals are gone. The fans despair. Form may be fleeting, but let's be clear, perhaps it's time you weren't here. West Coast Donna says, I'm not comfortable with Shinnie and Nielsen in the same team. Let's get the new guys on, Polvara and maybe a youth player. John Grant said, it's amazing Shinnie was man of the match against Hearts and now in some fans' eyes he's done. Got to start getting behind our players. Graham Gibbs says, we need Shinnie or Devlin on the pitch. Scottish Cup is a special animal which those from Tottenham, Latvia and Denmark won't realise until tomorrow. So we need some guidance on the field. I completely agree with that 100%. The musical box says, we need to stop playing around at the back with no sense of what we're trying to achieve. Okay, keep your comments coming in, please. Okay, so I don't know if you saw this that I posted on my socials earlier today. This day, back in 1977, our cult hero, Hicham Zerouali, was born. He would have celebrated his 48th birthday today. But as we all know, he was tragically taken from his family, his friends, and the wider football community many years ago when he died tragically in a car crash in his home country of Morocco. Born this day, 1977, and quite simply, will never be forgotten. Rest in peace. What a player. Just what I remember about Zero more than anything else is that infectious smile that he had on his face when he played the game. I don't know if you caught the interview that I did with Ben Thornley a few weeks ago when we were looking back on the anniversary of his death. And Ben just says, from a technical point of view, one of the most gifted players that he'd ever played with. Great fun in the dressing room, had a really wicked sense of humour. Was a fantastic teammate. And I just think he was the type of player who put you on the edge of your seat. He was the type of player that when he got the ball, you would start to gently rise from your seat in anticipation of what he was going to do next. And I think it's quite fair to say that, you know, he was a shining light in what was extremely difficult and challenging times for the football club at the time that he played for us. Chopping, changing manager, not, you know, just scraping at the sort of the lower echelons of the league, just not doing it. But every time he got the ball, every time he pulled on the shirt, there was just this buzz about him. And it was just so tragic when the news reached us that he'd passed away in such awful circumstances. So the thoughts are very much with his family today, and everybody also who has got in touch from Morocco, from teams that I used to play for in Morocco, who have inundated me today on my socials as well with their own messages, which has been absolutely fantastic to see. So I thought it was only right that we remembered Zero today on his, what would have been his 48th birthday. Let's get back to some of your comments just to see if there's anything else in before we finish off tonight. Oh, great. Fantastic to see so many of you responding to that post. West Coast Don says Clarkson, he's really fallen from grace. Why? David Gall says Duke, McGrath, McKenzie, McDonald and probably a couple of others will be gone by the end of the season. Sue says, no doubt Shinnie's lost his speed, but you cannot deny his passion. Graham Gibbs said, Shinnie is fine, but recent months expose the fact that he cannot play that role 2 or 3 times a week. Musical Box says, Shinnie needs to at least have his game time changed. Delighted so many of you are responding to that post about Zero. Hugh Burns, Zero, right player, wrong team, time. West Coast Dawn said, Zero had that smile Bojan played with because they were on another level. Loved footy, loved the team and the fans, but had to move on. Loved them both. Hugh Burns says, remember that Zero goal against Hibs? Turned away with the ball still on its way to the goal. God, it's a goal I'll never forget. Honestly, I thought he'd messed it up. I really thought he messed it up. Phil McInish says, I was at that game when Zero was jumping up and down in the puddle at Dens Park. Brilliant. Colin Gale says, getting back to the game, there should be no question of Nielsen and Shinnie being binned. They just need time to recover energy levels. Older heads are a good thing. Kaiser says, we should not be playing 2 holding midfielders against Elgin. Yeah, I kind of tend to agree with that. What I'm looking for tomorrow is quite simply for Balaversa to get more forward. A lot more forward. Just let Shinza sit. Balaversa get forward. Hugh Burns says, passion isn't enough. Right, guys, we've done just over 25 minutes. So I'm going to call it a night. So all that's left to say, as always on a Friday night, is the very best of luck to the lads tomorrow. They don't need us to say anything. There's going to be a fantastic support, a travelling support, as there always will be. We've sold out our allocation. No doubt they'll be making themselves heard. They've just got to get back to being passionate. They've just got to get back to having a real will and a real desire to win a game of football. And tomorrow is the perfect opportunity to just put everything to bed, lift confidence, get a win under our belts, and just kick on from there. But you're going to have to be at your very best. Good luck. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on Sunday for the review show. If you're going to the game tomorrow, please have a safe trip. Enjoy the match. Enjoy your Saturday. And I'll see you Sunday. Take care of yourselves. Stand free.